Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Blockchain Hustler. This is a podcast where we interview leaders in the crypto and blockchain space. Today, we have Vi, who is the CEO of Robo Inu, here with us, and we are going to discuss her background before going into Web3 and crypto, as well as we are also going to explore Robo Inu as a project. So just before we get started here, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your background before you got into Web3 and crypto, and then we can go into the specifics.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, team, for the introductions and also the Blockchain Hustler for hosting us today. So my name is V. I'm actually originally from Vietnam, but I spent 15 years in Singapore before moving to United States. So in terms of professions wise, I actually before moving into the Web3 space full time, I was an oil and gas trader for a couple of years, and then also spent the last 5 years of my career in the maritime tech sales. And having doing kind of regional role that selling software as a service solutions, focus a lot on the oil and gas trading and also banking and financial services before becoming a full-time Web3 person since last.
It's kind of the perfect combination there with both the software as well as the finance, because those are two, of course, two core pillars. What was the first thing that really attracted you to Web3? What was when you had the aha moment that you understood what it was all about?
Well, I think it's very interesting when you talk about it. I mean, before we even know about the term Web3, most of us here, perhaps including yourself, I think that we know about this as a crypto, right? And like Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I remember back then the day when I read the first Bitcoin white paper in 2017, 2018, when I first bought my first Bitcoin, and that was a time when I came to this market more from the lucrative perspective. We just became an investor and a trader, and also because of the experience as an oil and gas trader, I'm more in terms of trading altcoin and Bitcoin and Ethereum. But then subsequently, when you learn and read more into the potentials of this space, like the utility behind every single token, like Polkadot or Cardano or even Matic, Polygon, so to name a few. So that was a time I realized that it's quite fun to actually to do something different, and how to actually to apply what I know about in my domain and what I know about from crypto space to do something different. And that's how I started to get to know more into the crypto space as well. We call Web3.
Yeah, myself, I actually also lived back to Vietnam. I was living in Vietnam in 2017 and in Ho Chi Minh City. And there I remember that, so I was living there and working at the Bitcoin coffee shop where they were trading crypto against fiat money.
Oh, wow.
And I remember back then, I got it very, very, understood it very strongly because the Vietnamese regulation around sending finance to other countries is that the banks only allow money to be sent in, and it's very hard to send money to foreign countries. And when you have very strong a government control around funds and about the finance, and I remember back then that crypto really clicked to me because that gives the power back to the individual, and nobody can stop me from sending transactions there, and it basically gives financial freedom and inclusion to a much broader audience, which is a very powerful message, and that you can like open up new market. And I know in like countries like Vietnam, a lot of people are also missing bank accounts, and that's also part of the mission of, I know, of your company to bring financial inclusion and financial inclusion to various markets. So maybe you can talk a bit more about that, and about the DeFi space, and what Robo Inu and you're the project that you're the CEO of, what you are working within this niche.
Right. I think you brought up a very interesting point when you say that you stay in Vietnam in the 2017, and how the transactions on between the foreign countries. So I myself, I left my home, my comfort zone when I was 15 years old, and stay abroad ever since. So it's kind of like I also encountered the same obstacle, the same challenge where I need to transfer money from Singapore or United States back home to Vietnam, for example. So what we are doing here at Robo Inu, so just a little bit of background about us here. The company name of our company is Robo Global Investment, and one of the project that being inspired by us is Robo Inu Finance. So the ecosystem of Robo Inu Finance is that we are currently developing a Robo Wallet and Robo X, which is a decentralized exchange, and Robo Launchpad, and also a Robo NFT marketplace. So basically, the financial freedom, like what you mentioned here, is that something that we strongly advocate, because we are trying to create a wallet where it allow the user to kind of like remit cryptocurrency to fiat,
Yeah.
basically a cross-border transfer, because we do have a traditional channel where people send money, like US dollar to Vietnamese dong, or even Singapore dollar to Vietnamese dong, or a British pound to Vietnamese dong. So I realized that if with the gaps of bridgings between the fiat and also cryptocurrency and also stablecoin, how does that work? So that is how the
Yeah.
idea comes about. And also we talk a lot about financial freedom, but then a lot of millennials, they don't know exactly what exactly this financial freedom is. So that's
Yes.
when we started doing this wallet. It is more like, because we already have a cryptocurrency wallets like MetaMask wallet, Coinbase wallet, and Trust wallet, but the usage, and there's a lot of not every wallet is user friendly in terms of connecting to different chains and different network. So we are trying to do something that allow the user to kind of like a click of a mouse, and they can connect to a decentralized chain, for example, or connect to a certain platform like OpenSea, or
Yeah.
Look Rare, for example. So this is a type of wallet that we are trying to do,
Yeah.
and also tracking of personal finances, meaning that, let's say, for example, if you stay in Vietnam and you earning $1,000 US dollar, and you pay your rent, right? Because you are staying there for as a traveler, you pay your rent, and you pay your meals every day. So how much do you save? So this kind of
Yeah.
track we do in traditional way. When I was in university and fresh out of college, I use an Excel sheet to track all this at the manual level, and very
Yeah.
details level. So I thought that if there is a tool where we are able to track all this in terms of cryptocurrency, then how cool it is. So that's how it comes about, and that's the reason how Robo Inu Finance was born. And because we want to make it more more professional, and also more, and that's how we rebranded the entire brand under the umbrella of Robo Global Investment.
Yeah. It's a very good point there that you brought up, which is there's a difference between financial, like the freedom to be able to own your own wallet, but if you can't use it, then it doesn't bring freedom of finance to the rest of the market. because there is a gap, and that gap is a skill gap. And people need to be able to understand and have it user-friendly in order to reach adoption and to get people to actually be able to use it. Because you can have tons of tools, but if nobody can use it, then it doesn't bring any value to the marketplace. So I've personally been testing the wallet, and I know that you are bringing, like on the Robo wallet, on the personal finances, that it makes it easier and is very user friendly. So that's a bit of a unique way. So what would you say is the main focus for how you have actually been building, managed to build such a strong community? Because when I look up Robo Global on Twitter, you always have a very strong community that is very active. What would you say is the core to creating an active community in Web3?
Right. I think moving from a traditional tech company into the Web3 where people live on the internet. Like for example, just like how you and I right now, we talk, but we perhaps we haven't never met in person. So that is how it come about when the community is also the same concept when people live in different time zone, different different part of the world. So how are we trying to connect the people? So one of the things that it really represents us here is the if you look at our logo, we actually have the pillar of the financial freedom, and the one more is that the pillar of community, because to us here community is very important. So the one of the approaches that we actually took when the company first established back then in 2021 was the transparency, and also the communication and the interaction with the community, where they can have an access to the developer team anytime and anywhere. So whether it's a different platform like Reddit, Twitter, or Facebook, or even Telegram. So, and we also created a lot of rewards program where we can reward them in terms of being a loyal holder, or even giving out free gift like an iPhone, or things like that, to motivate and to encourage them to get involved with the system itself, the ecosystem. And that's the reason why one of the product in our ecosystem is RoboDAO,
Yeah.
where we started this RoboDAO, it almost to the completion, where we go into launch it very soon, where the owners, I mean the holders of our RBIF tokens, Robo Inu Finance, have a say in voting in terms of governance, in terms of proposal, what do you want to do with the treasury, for example, what do you want to do in the next step in terms of a development. So this is something that we want to build, one of the community driven project where the community become a decision maker. However,
Yeah.
we as a leader, I mean, I myself as the CEO, we're gonna lay out that kind of foundations, and at the end of the day, we're gonna steer this towards a direction.
Yeah, I think that's what you see more and more with the projects, that a project need a strong leader and a strong vision, and then afterwards create structures around that to make sure that you incentivize and support the community to take the project forward, as well as partnering up with leading voices. You can definitely see that, especially in a bear market, that it's important to build connections, to focus on your community, and to give back to the community that are sticking through you through this crypto winter that we are currently going through. So what are some of the leading developments and products that you have been focusing on building now during the last few months in the slower market, when maybe you can talk a bit about that on the products that you have been focusing on building?
Right. I think so basically when Bitcoin started crashing down from 64,000 to 42,000, the team had already kind of like make know that the market is going to crash down during the time in May, and so that's why we shifted our attentions and also our focus into the building mode, where we hiring more people in terms of a technical skill, as well as a development team to actually to scale the part. So up to today, we have already launched the wallet in terms of the basic features, functionality, where people is in terms of app, Android and also iOS versions at the currently on the testnet, and soon we're gonna launch the extension as well, and also the Robo X, the decentralized exchange, also already in the testnet version. So I think that what I can foresee right now is we are trying to accomplish the wallet in this year and go into manage, so that we can show to our potential partners where they can integrate with our wallets, and that's how the utility comes into the token. Even though I agree with the community that why is it a meme coin like Robo Inu Finance when you are focusing a lot on building a utility, but then again my visions and my purpose is still remain the same, in a way that because a lot of people come into cryptocurrency to earn money, right? But in order for them to earn money, it need to have some sort of visions or utility to sustain. So that's how why we focus on building. And then because of Robo Inu Finance is still a very low in market cap, and that's how when people started to realize that the intentions of the project and the intentions of the vision itself, then they started okay, realize that okay, that is something that is a good opportunity to buy and hold the token.
Yeah, you definitely see that there is a lot of projects and a lot of people that have now left the space.
Yeah, correct,
And
exactly.
people are kind of like, but a lot of these are people that will come back when the tide is turning. And
Yeah,
that's kind of what you see, that the core believer of decentralization and building this Web3 ecosystem, they're still here. Myself, I'm talking every week with, this week I've been speaking with about 20 founders of the various projects. And all over the place, I hear new plans, I hear vision, I hear investments. This is the time to invest. This is the time to grow. This is the time to build, because all of the people that left, they are the ones that will become running back with full speed as soon as you see that the market is turning back into uh, to a better time. And what
exactly.
you have already seen is that the crypto market went down for about a year from the
Yeah,
peak, so a
3 years.
year of a bear market. And that is generally on average how long the bear market lasts. Of course, there is a lot of uncertainty in the markets, but we have started to see a bit of an uptick. And also that has been in the rest of the markets as well. And I definitely see that a lot of the projects that have been building, building, focusing on the community, partnering up with the right partners in the ecosystem, those are the ones that will do the best when the market turns. And the community will see that you are not just here for a quick money grab. These are
Yeah,
the products that we have to build for the long term.
exactly. Yeah. So there's something that we communicate very clearly to the community, and that's the reason why we recently kind of like gave out a airdrops worth of 300,000 US dollar to the
Mm.
community. When we hit our first milestone as a 5,000 holders, maybe to a lot of people, 5,000. So why are you celebrating this? Because we have been a strong advocate of the organic growth in terms of community, in terms of holder. So when we first started, we don't really give out any airdrop to people just to increase the number of holder, because that is something that not we want to achieve. We really want to push ourselves and push the community to the stage where they are able to, to know that, okay, they have to take the ownership of what they are holding, right? Because
Yeah.
development here, marketing is here, but then again, if marketing, if without the community's involvement, without the community's engagement, the marketing as a, as an effect may not be as effective or impactful as it should be. So that's the
Yeah.
reason why we kind of like we have a lot of activities, and tool to actually to engage them in that
Yeah.
perspective. And for
Yeah,
that reason,
100. Yeah, 100%. And also focusing on the long term. You have been here for quite some time now, and the whole project Robo is growing, and it is steady and slow wins the race in the long run. Of course, it's important to make sure that you deliver the utilities, the values, living up to the product deliveries, and doing that, communicating well to the community, and yeah, focusing on growth. So super nice conversation we have had here today. Always nice to talk with industry builders and industry leaders with a blockchain hustler audience. So if we could wrap up this session with a few last words about where could we learn more about Robo, as well as where can we best keep up with the latest information?
well, we are very visible, everywhere. On You can find us on Telegram, on a Facebook or Twitter, or maybe even on our website at roboglobal.info. You can find every single information over there, and everything is transparently displayed. And we also are very active on Telegram, where developer like myself, we are there to answer all the questions. But of course, when it comes to cryptocurrency, always talk to the developer, communicate to the developer, and ask them, question them about the vision. And that is very important, because you have to invest into the people, and that is the most important. Even though cryptocurrency is full of opportunity, however, we still need to, to have a knowledge to understand what exactly that behind a certain white paper or certain vision behind.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the final words. And yeah, looking forward to talking more in the future. Thanks so much for being here today. And bye bye.
Thank you very much, team, for hosting. Appreciate that.